Cards from Thunder Junction continue to surprise the Magic player base, with a card this week jumping over 640% in value. We've also got to discuss some reserve list buyouts that are going on, and by the end of this video we'll take a look at some commons from Duskmourn that have players talking. It looks like the Outlaws of Thunder Junction is not done yet giving Magic players value for their dollar. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thank you again for hanging out with me on my channel today as we discuss this card that has jumped 640%. And of course, we got to hit up some reserve list conversation and some financial impacts from cards from Duskmourn. Now, I know you guys like to jump right into these cards when we do a card spike video, so let's take a look at our first card today. This is the Laughing Jasper Flint extended art version. It's jumped up from like that $5 mark all the way up to over $12. It has an average price of $12.56, but you'll see the average price is $5.29, although you'll have a hard time finding it for that price point. A foil is $16.99, and of course it's 85 euro to get that card into your house. When we're taking a look at the pre-order, where this thing was over that same point, it dropped down, saw nothing, and now all of a sudden it's starting to spike up. Well, I've had the displeasure of facing off against this card numerous times inside of Arena and a couple of times in live matches. This is what this card's going to do. It is a 4/3 legendary creature, Lizard Rogue. It is 1 red, 1 black, 1 generic, okay? And it says creatures you control but don't own are mercenaries in addition to their other types. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top X cards of target opponent's library, where X is the number of outlaws you control. Until end of turn, you may cast spells from among those cards, and mana of any type can be used to cast those spells. This is an insane combination card that has a lot of versatility. If you can get enough tokens, enough creatures on the battlefield, this guy can be exiling 4, 5, 6 cards, and people at first wondered why he wasn't attacking. It's because you don't want that guy to die. You want him to stick around, do what he has to do to advance your long game. So guys, remember a card like this, you're going to see a lot more of him. The sales of this card have ended up being a couple of hundred copies a day. Now that couple of hundred copies a day may end up making a top 10 video, but here's the thing. As that card has shot up in price, that value is not sustainable right now, I'm going to be honest. But the regular version that's the $3, $4 mark still, that one is starting to take off now with players saying, yeah, this isn't a bad card. I might as well spend $12 to $16 and get a play set of 4 of the regular edition. Now, if you're wondering how many copies are out there, Outlaws of Thunder Junction was fairly well received. So there's a lot of copies available on the market. I do not believe that the price sustainability here is going to stay this high. I think it's going to drift right back down in the next 30 days, but that doesn't mean this card's not going to remain popular, and it doesn't mean you might see it not gain in value over time. If it wins a major tournament, that's an entirely different kettle of fish that you're going to have to deal with. So if you're a player looking for this card, yes, you might want to jump into it and buy 4 copies for the $12 to $16, get the basic version right. But if you're a player who likes the fancier stuff, maybe you're going to spend that money. But it's still great to see some cards other than Slick Shot, Sure Shot, Bristly Bill, some other cards in the set kind of gaining some value point, because the set has lots of $3 and $4 cards inside. And when you see a few bigger cards hit it, it makes it a little bit nicer for players who might want to buy a box and not feel so bad about drafting it. So a good card. Now, that's not our only topic point today. Let's take a look at this reserve list card that really hit it big this weekend. And the conversation is something like this. Here is Fastbond, revised edition, averaging now $49.99. Now, a couple of weeks back, this was on my top 10 video for around $18.99. So you can see it's more than doubled in value, okay? On my Sunday reserve list top 10 video, we had hundreds of sales of this card. The thing is, there's nothing saying it's actually going to get unbanned. There is no certainty. This is a speculation price point in which players are diving into this market, probably not thinking about what they're doing with their money. The rules committee has not said anything about this. It's an alternate thing for like a CDH thing. I did mention it in that top 10 video, but the thing I want to mention here is this, yes, is a reserve list card. It has been banned in most formats, and Fastbond is a card that I think is amazing. And I don't, me myself, in my opinion, I don't think it should be banned, but that's beside the point. I don't control what those people do. But the speculators are playing off of the market right now, and this card's just decked out in value. If you own a lot of this card, cashing in the value, at least some of them, might be a prudent choice at this point because it's gone up so much. At the same time, if you're wondering if it actually will get unbanned, who knows? Who knows which way the wind will blow, but I know how manipulation on the market looks. We've tried it, we've seen it, and we've educated people on this numerous times over the years here on the channel. So at this point, it's up to other players to decide kind of what to do with it, right? But you know what? This is that kind of wait and see point where I say it's a reserve list card, and if it gets unbanned, this thing's going to 150 bucks. Now, can they ban something in CDH but not unban it in regular? I don't know. It's a casual format. I'm sure somebody will tell me in the comments section about how that's all going to work. I just feel at that price point, players have really got to take a cautious look at what's going on and understand that market manipulation is everywhere and we don't know anything for certainty. So pay attention to that, okay? You're taking cash in hand and you're gambling right now. You're gambling on the market. Enjoy yourselves. Have fun, but be educated on what's going on. I myself would not be buying copies at $49.99 right now. Do not buy into the FOMO. Wait this one out, okay? Now, look, we're not done yet. There's another card that's starting to jump up that we have to talk about. Check this card out. Let's just take a moment to look at this card, Opalescence from Urza's Destiny. This card, you can see that little tail at the end of it starting to uptick. This card is $20.41 on average. The market's $18.36, and of course, the foil being the first ever foils is $177.93. Those are US prices. Let's take a closer look at this card. Now, for 2 white and 2 generic, it's an enchantment that says each other global enchantment is a creature with power and toughness, each equal to its converted mana cost. It's still an enchantment, okay? Now, the reason this card's starting to catch some attention is due to Duskmourn. There were hundreds of copies that have sold in the last, 12 hours. By the time I did this video, it will have been 24 hours past. This card was still available for $14 and change on TCG Player. It has not hit the main market, and we have not had a buyout, an official buyout happen where FOMO took over. If you're a player who's interested in this card, you're going to want to take notice now and get in before it spikes up, or you're going to have to wait till after the interest dies down. The fact that Duskmourn has a lot of enchantments already found inside of the early spoiler season lets us know it might be a big thing, and cards like this have spiked in the past. Now, this card has been as high as $75-$80. You don't expect it to go there again. Even I don't, not even with a set like this, like Duskmourn. This card may hit $40 US if it had a real FOMO buyout, but buying it right now at $14 and taking, hey, I just want to get 1 copy for a commander deck in the future, that makes sense to me. It's a card to take notice of because nobody else has really jumped on this yet. I wanted to inform you guys in today's video that this is happening, okay? These things are going on right now. So that's just the last one there, but we're not done yet. Don't worry, we're not done, because take a look at these cards from Duskmourn. I want to share with you guys and the conversation that's really been going on about these new common kind of dual lands, for better lack of a word, because they're interesting. It says, the first one here, Peculiar Lighthouse, and they're all the same. I'll show you the images. Enters tapped unless a player has 13 or less life, okay? Now, you can picture that in a commander game. It just says a player, which means anybody. And hitting somebody for 7 damage really isn't that hard if you can get things going right away. Picture a slick shot, sure shot deck. You can untap. I mean, you wouldn't need it in that deck. That's not the point. I'm just saying there are ways of hitting people really hard, really fast to make this actually work for you. It doesn't mean it's going to be the game-saving thing, but it's a little added quirk to a card with the 13 number as well, right? Which is kind of like from Innistrad. But when you see this coming up as a conversation point, you say, this card is actually not that bad, especially for a common. I'm sure Pauper players are going to love this card. Now, of course, they've done every color at once. All right, when you see all the different types, Strangled Cemetery, Lakeside Shack, which totally reminds me of a Conan comic, where like these Legionnaire soldiers go in there and they kill this old witch, and then these demons come and kill all the soldiers, and Conan's the only one to survive, and it turns out the witch didn't die. Anyway, besides the point, great comic book. When you see the lands, they're all the same thing. Cool artwork, nice stuff. I found it very interesting. But the last point I want to make is, with these types of lands, you have to understand, although there's an interest in the lands, although they're cool to see them come up, and they may have playability, that in no way, and I mean this, guys, that in no way means that these lands are valuable. Do not go with the assumption that a common land is worth $1 or $2, because they're not. They are going to be everywhere. They are going to be opened. They are going to be readily available. If you need any type of evidential history on what happens when they do this kind of thing, Look at some of the old full art lands from Battle for Zendikar. When people hunted these down, and then a year later, they went from being $5, $6, $7 down to like 50 cents to $1. Okay? And that was for the foil ones. They became a regular thing. If Wizards feels that players really jumping on this, and they realize it's not a major, like, it doesn't really fundamentally impact the game the way they intend it to in Standard, like, okay, 13, you still got to do enough damage, this isn't going to be a big thing, and by the time they get somebody down to 7, the game's kind of locked in a way. They understand how the game is played, but on paper, it's going to look very interesting to players. It's going to get, garner some attention, and some players may jump on this thinking that they found a financial windfall. When you have to understand, this card's going to be opened hundreds of thousands of times. They're going to be at every LGS. They're going to be everywhere on eBay, TCG Player, Card Market, Facebook Market, whatever you want to call it. They're going to be everywhere. They are not going to be valuable, but they are going to be playable. They're going to be fun, and players are going to want to have them. If you're one of the guys who can get in early enough and flip a whole bunch, great, you'll make a lot of money probably. But after the first week or two, things are going to die down really quick, and people need to be ready for that. Do not get stuck holding these things. They are not going to hold the value people think they're going to. Anyway, that's the educational moment. Go Joe. Remember the end of the G.I. Joe episodes? You guys remember. If you don't, you should watch that stuff. Anyway, I want to thank you guys again for hanging out with me on my channel today. I hope you found it informative and fun. And of course, if you enjoyed today's content, don't forget, like and subscribe to my channel. Turn on your notification bell. I put out new videos every day. And we're only, 241 subscribers away from 24K. Which means, really, we're only 1,241 subscribers away to the halfway mark of our goal of 50,000 subs. We're almost at 25,000. Thanks again, everyone, for making this happen. Thanks for subscribing to the channel and supporting and watching every day and giving these videos a thumbs up. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Have a fantastic day. And if you're in Canada, it's the first day of school tomorrow, which means when you're watching this, Mini Mox is back in class. Sucker. Guys, have a great one. Hey guys, a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons of my channel. Because of the patrons supporting each and every day, we get to put out fantastic content for everyone on YouTube to enjoy. Because of the patrons here supporting my channel, this is going to continue to happen for years to come. So thanks again to my patrons and my YouTube membership members. I look forward to seeing you all in the comment section and of course tomorrow for another video. I know, I was being mean to Mini Mox. I know. I can't help myself. Ramble Jamble! Come on, I've been with my kid all summer. He was dreading this day. I've got to tease him a little bit. He does it to me all the time about going to work. Now, he's got to pay the piper. So guys, be aware of what I told you about in today's video. A lot of these cards are going to spike up and go back down in value. Fastbond could actually go to the stratosphere if it became unbanned, but that's unlikely right now without knowing more facts. So anyone buying in at this market, come on, people on this channel are not likely going to be doing that. Opalescence, interesting. Still 14, 15 bucks. Get in on that if you needed a copy. If not, if you already have a copy, you don't have to worry about it. And then those lands, do not buy them. Okay? You can buy a place of each one or probably get enough when you open on the opening weekend to just pick them up from the store really cheap. But I can see how players might get enticed to buy these thinking there's something that they're not. So I hate that idea, right? It's just one of those things. These cards don't have that type of value. And this type of card value where people spike it up because of what it can do and they think it's something more than it is. Remember, you still got to deal 7 damage to have that card come into play untapped, and that is easy to do, but you'd already be winning the game at that point, so that's not going to help you. You know what I mean? Like, it's a great idea, but it's not going to carry you through, because if it did, the game would already be over, because you'd be doing so much damage so fast. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, drop some comments. Thanks for hanging out. See you guys tomorrow. Wow, Mini Mox is back in school.